alaikum and welcome viewers to HyperDrive Your Business powered by eGeneration. I, Nahian Rashid Urbi, will be your host for the program today. The COVID-19 pandemic has been impacting markets, institutions and industries across the economy nowadays. The banking sector of Bangladesh as well as the non-banking financial institutions are no different from this. This has brought out a drastic change in the adoption of technology for both the banks and the consumers. To shed more light on the digital transformation of Bangladesh, we have with us today Mr. Emran Abdullah, a leading professional working in the banking sector as well as the IT sector of Bangladesh for the last 14 years. He started his career at Dhaka Bank and is currently appointed as the Director, Sales and Operations at eGeneration Limited. Sir, welcome to HyperDrive Your Business powered by eGeneration. We would like to start off by knowing a little more about you.
Thank you, Urbi. Assalamu alaikum to the viewers. This is Emran Abdullah, currently working as a Director, Operations and Sales at eGeneration. As a former banker and now as a director of a leading IT company, I have had this privilege to get into this subject matter. And it will be my pleasure to talk about this digital transformation and in your subject matter. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Mr. Emran, today we would like to discuss about the accelerated digitalization of the banking sector and also know your expert opinions coming from a company so that we know what we are looking forward to. So at the same time, maybe you can tell us something about your company, eGeneration.
Thank you, Urbi. eGeneration is the leading system integration and software solutions company and the only software company went for IPO in this year. And we have system integration in one part, and in system integration part we have been working with global giants like Microsoft, SAP, VMware, Dell, Cisco and so on, and those are all billion-dollar companies, and we are taking their products and solutions and integrating in Bangladeshi markets and localizing them. And also in another part we are doing and working with like so many emerging technologies like industry 4.0 technologies, and like those technologies are like artificial intelligence, blockchain, machine learning, big data and so on. Financial service sector has been the key focus for eGeneration, and as you know that technology is a core part of this, and that's where eGeneration is adding value.
Okay, I see. So we do realize that you have the exact expertise that we're looking for, working both in the IT sector as well as the banking sector of Bangladesh. So can you share with us your views on the digital transformation of the banking sector?
We have seen many innovative and very interesting changes, especially during this pandemic time. These changes can be categorized in particularly two areas. One is for front office operations for a bank, and another one is for like back office operations. So for front office operations, like it's all about like how banks are serving to the customers, right? And also the back office part, it's like optimizing their operations. During this pandemic, you know, like we just shifted our workplace to digital part, right? And then we have started using different kinds of digital workplace solutions, including like, you know, Microsoft solutions for like Teams and other different kinds of solutions. And also like for back office, so now it's like all about like how it's integrating their operations and serving like very efficiently. And also we have seen like some other players came into the market, and those are very, very prevalent right now, especially like mobile financial service providers, bKash, Nogod and so on. So those payments and like transfer of money becomes the eminent in this economy, digital economy right now. And if you see like that there was a study from MasterCard, the global financial payment services is now taking digital, and it soared like more than like 60% during this pandemic time. We have also seen the dynamic changes of the mindset of the technology providers or especially the bankers in this pandemic time, because like now they are like more prone to have like more digital solutions that we did not find earlier, I think. So especially like eKYC solutions, digital onboarding solutions type things, those are basically integrated with AI, ML, and so on. Those services are now taking part of regular banking systems. It's important that we have also seen the mindset of adopting and utilizing digital solutions during this pandemic. Also, we have came across like a lot of eGenerations, NBFI, and also like banking clients that they are also thinking more about like digital solutions that would not be maybe possible other than this pandemic time.
So that's very interesting, Mr. Emran. I'm sure our viewers will find that very insightful also. So now I would particularly like to ask you that why do you think the digital transformation is particularly becoming so important in our banking sector?
Thank you, Urbi. This is very important questions because uh, uh, Bill Gates once said like banking is important, banks not. So it doesn't mean that we don't need banking or banking services. So it means like banking services should evolve in a way that bank will come to the doorstep of the customers rather than just like customers will go to the doorstep like the bank branches and have these services. So and also if you see like mobile financial services and other players are operating in the market in such a way, it becomes very challenging for the banks to cope up with these challenges, right?
Right.
And also like the customer acquisition and customer serving expenditure for any banks is much higher than the mobile financial service providers because they have unique advantage of digital onboarding of the customer through eKYC and such type of things. Okay. On the other hand, banks spread is getting much lower nowadays. So if you cannot like reduce your cost in terms of like customer acquisition, so it will be very difficult for banks to survive and even thrive, right? So this point of view, digital transformation is the key. You may also know Ernst & Young has one survey like in the last 5 years from 2015 to 2020. So digital transformation, due to this digital transformation, overall payment and transfer rate becomes like from 16% to 60% during this 5%, during these 5 years. So you understand now the importance of this digital transformation, and of course it comes from digitalization of the whole process of the banks.
All right. So now that we've established that definitely the banking sector of Bangladesh is going through a digital transformation, so maybe now you can tell us from an company's point of view in eGeneration, what kind of banking clients you face who kind of, tell you about their challenges. Maybe you can tell us something about those challenges particularly.
The challenges, the major challenges that we found in terms of like the customers that we are interacting with are the changes in technology and competition, like huge competition in the market. And on top of that, like the changes in customer behavior and customer expectation particularly. Banks are addressing those changes and digitizing their services for the customer service point of view. But at the same time, cybersecurity also comes in, right? So in terms of cybersecurity, like a lot of incidences are happening nowadays.
Right.
And now we don't have any option to take it lightly anymore. So cybersecurity challenge is another challenges that banks are facing right now. And on top of that, during this pandemic, banks are forced to do their internal operational activities digitally, and also like sometimes even from work from home. So that's why like they had like different kinds of application, but right now their seamless operation and also like back office efficiency, it's becoming challenging for them. So maybe like any unified solution for them, maybe enterprise resource planning type solutions can give them good platform for that. On top of that, regulatory perspective, it's also very challenging for banks because they need to cope up with so many different kinds of regulations with Bangladesh Bank. But like if you want to go out from traditional banking to innovative banking, so sometimes maybe these regulations is not giving them enough space to do their usual innovation. So that's also becoming challenging for banks.
Okay, so Mr. Imran, now coming to a more global perspective, so we would now like to know that what are some of the banking industry trends or customer expectations that are, you would say, more prevalent all over the world during this pandemic?
Banks all over the world are trying to offer like more exciting services and very unique customized experience for their customers. If you see like Capital Bank, one Capital Bank of USA, so they are offering like coffee banking, like you can enjoy coffee and having your banking services. So it's all about your experience, right? And I can give you one story. I can tell you one story. So once I went to a bank and somehow like my signature was not matching. So I personally went there and gave my signature, but even then they could not recognize my signature. So you would see like, is it like KYC, know your customers, banks are taking, or know your signature, bank is taking. So I am personally there. So it's bank's responsibility to identify me. So
Right.
there can be so many like biometric verification that's worldwide recognized right now. So that can be inbuilt in the system to recognize the unique identity of that individual person. So that's are not here in Bangladesh anymore yet, right? And also like I can see like different kinds of customized experience, customized services, because many informations are very much available in terms of user point of view. So banks can use those information and can offer those services, analytics and so on, right? And globally, that's very much possible. Like once fine morning, maybe your banker will give you like some sort of like any personalized information or maybe greetings based on your personalized information that will be kind of giving you like wow kind of expectation, right? So that are globally there, and especially because of pandemic, so a lot of digitization things happen. So from these digitization services and customers nowadays wants to have their services by their own. So for personally, I don't want to go to bank and get the services and in a queue, right? So I want my services maybe from my phone or maybe from my like telebanking or something like that, or maybe from any digital assistant, so through chatbot. So
Right.
those are very much prevalent in terms of like global banking systems. I believe like those are coming up next in Bangladesh as well.
Right, that's very insightful and a very interesting story to share with our audience also. At this point, I think I'll just come back to my last question. So we talked about the global perspective here. Can you now maybe tell us where you see or where you would put the Bangladeshi banking sector in terms of this global trend, where you know you see Bangladesh and where it fits in?
Although pandemic has been playing a like catalyst role in terms of digital payment and overall like digital banking solutions related activities in terms of banks, but I believe like banking sector has like long way to go in terms of like overall digitization and digital journey. And I have forgot to mention one like few more jargons that globally used in terms of like cashless banking and green banking, and definitely with the tagging with like the crypto and other blockchain related solutions, right? Those are very much prevalent and in different kinds of banking industries in all over the world. But in terms of Bangladesh, because of like regulatory frameworks and overall ecosystems support, I think we are yet to go in that level. So we need much more, many more like digital kind of services right now.
So, Mr. Imran, as you were saying that the new gen customers that we have, they have very different expectations from banks. So, in that case, what is needed for these banks to sort of completely progress towards this digital transformation?
Yes, Ruby, you rightly said, definitely in terms of customer expectations that may be completely different because the new gen customers may have like different kind of expectation from their parents or from their grandparents, right? But that expectation can be fulfilled from their personalized and profiling and so on and other things from their digital touch points. But important thing is that banks should look into this transformation both in terms of customer expectation and back office automation and like kind of like fulfillment. It's not like just maybe like one or two operations or something like that. Sometimes what happens, it's become so like narrow focused and maybe like very short term, doing something very quickly, but maybe very short sightedness is there. So I believe like banks should have like more digital transformation roadmap that can give you like more productive and efficient manner of their investment and in terms of especially in terms of ROI of their investment. It's good that they have already investing and they have started their thinking like how they can become more digital, but I think it should be like more like holistic way. Also, I'm not fully convinced about the fully digital transformation of a banking services because sometimes it may not be feasible for the country like Bangladesh, and it may not be even feasible in terms of like investment. So I believe it should be the combination of physical and digital. So you call it like physical. Okay. So it's very important that you may be starting your banking transaction or like any banking activities from your home, maybe like you are fulfilling this transaction maybe in a certain bank or certain branches. So that's very important of their combination so that the user or the clients can find the overall expectation as a like very exciting and they also become the part of their journey and they find it like it's very valuable and efficient for them as well.
Yes, of course. So, how would you suggest that the banking sector of Bangladesh actually prepare for this, coming trends to come, and what should be the problems, what should be the challenges that they should be better prepared for?
If you see the statistics from the year 2019 to 2020, overall digital transaction through internet banking has been increased like for more than 40%. What does it mean? Definitely there is a demand and requirement of that kind of service, right?
Right.
But at the same time, bank must know they are not only the payment portal, they need to offer like lot of different kinds of services like related to savings, related to borrowing, investment and so on, or definitely trade finance.
Right.
Those are major areas for banks to cover. So banks needs to find out like how they can offer these customized services and based on the user experience and expectations. So banks, it doesn't mean that bank do not have enough product to offer. They have enough product to offer, but the issue is not maybe those are not maybe due to like analytics driven. So bank needs to use those analytics driven products and solutions and backed by user profile related information. So if you can collect those analytics and user profile, so that can give you like more edge to offer you the better product for the customer and maybe a little bit customization of existing products.
Right.
And on the other hand, globally banks are going towards like cloud strategy. So, but in terms of Bangladesh, it's like still we don't have enough policy, or maybe there are some ambiguity in the policy in terms of cloud strategy. So, but I think if you go for like security expert, so they will always recommend like cloud storage, of course, is better than the on-prem and traditional legacy system. So, from if you see like from global perspective, so machine learning and AI are playing like major role in terms of like getting different kinds of data from user profile and from different kinds of digital touch point of the banks. So we need to think about this kind of machine learning and AI driven model to get the actual insight or actual expectation of the customer, and maybe doing some like customization of the existing products. And on the other hand, data science and data analytics can give you like more actionable insights that can give you like enough material for timely and real-time decision-making process for the banks, both from service delivery and operational point of view.
Okay, I see. So, Mr. Emran, that brings me to my next question, that how is your company, eGeneration, currently helping these financial institutions sort of use these services in their banking operations in the pandemic specifically?
eGeneration has been working with more than 15 banks with modern workplace and infrastructure related solutions with Microsoft, Oracle, Checkpoint and so on. You will be happy to know that we had opportunity to enable few banks to go for their digital operations during pandemic time. And also we have opportunity working with some bank for cybersecurity related solutions.
Right.
Besides, eGeneration is working with some emerging industry 4.0 technologies, especially on data analytics, RPA and blockchain with some banks, and we are in POC stage. So we believe we can contribute in this particular area with this kind of addition in traditional banking services.
That is indeed very good to know, Mr. Emran. We hope eGeneration continues to help the banking sector likewise in the future also. And that brings us towards the end of today's program. At this point, I would really like to thank you for being with us today and sharing with us your expert opinions and your insight for the digital transformation of the banking sector in Bangladesh. So at this point, would you like to share any parting words with our viewers, something that would probably help them better prepare for their journey to transformation?
Thank you, Urbi. It's also pleasure for me as well to share this insight with the viewers. And from eGeneration, we have been diligently working to touch billion lives positively. I believe contributing in FSI sector will give us immense opportunity to fulfill our vision and also transform Bangladesh into a high-tech innovative nation.
Right. So thank you again, Mr. Emran. And dear viewers, that brings us towards the end of today's program of ours. We hope you enjoyed today's episode about the digital transformation of the banking sector of Bangladesh. Do keep an eye on our social media pages for more updates of the HyperDrive Your Business powered by eGeneration. Thank you again.